Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to be doing a mock of the 2018 first round draft. So without further ado, let's get into it. With the first overall pick, I believe the Cleveland Browns will take Sam Darnold out of USC. I think the Browns need a quarterback, and I think it is highly likely that they will pick up someone in free agency. However, it is also clear that Josh Rosen does not want to be in Cleveland, though it would still be a very Browns move to draft the guy who hates the franchise. It is clear that Josh Allen is still too raw and that Baker Mayfield is just too controversial for many teams. So this leaves Darnold, who has no drama, has the physical tools, and great potential. Sure, maybe some people doubt him after last season, but he probably has the least bust potential, especially if you give him a little while to develop under a veteran. With the number 2 pick, I believe the New York Giants will take Josh Rosen. I'll be completely honest though. I fully believe that the Giants will trade it to a team like the Bills or the Cardinals who would trade up to take Rosen. So I'm pretty sure that the number 2 pick will be Rosen, though I strongly doubt the Giants will be the team to take him. I think new coach Pat Shurmur will roll with Eli Manning for a few more years and then trade down this pick to make sure to shore up some other positions. I just do not see the Giants keeping Eli and Rosen on the same roster. So I think they should trade down and take a QB later in the draft, though I also have no clue how confident they are in last year's third rounder Davis Webb. Still, Rosen is a placeholder pick at number 2. With the number 3 pick, I believe the Indianapolis Colts will take Bradley Chubb. Indy is another team I could see trading this pick if someone falls in love with Josh Allen or Baker Mayfield. However, I think they should keep this pick and take NC State's Bradley Chubb. He has power in his 275-pound frame and uses it well to shed blockers, but he's much more agile than one would expect from someone his size. He can stand up and rush the quarterback or put his hand in the dirt to crash the backfield. Chubb is a very versatile player, and he is a good sell in today's NFL when defenses rarely stay in a base 4-3 or 3-4. Some people may think the Colts should select Saquon Barkley here, and as much as I agree he is the best player in the draft, I think Chubb is more likely to be the pick here. With the number 4 overall pick, I believe the Cleveland Browns will take Minkah Fitzpatrick. I think the Browns need a leader on their defense to pair with Myles Garrett, and I think that player is Minkah Fitzpatrick. Everyone loves this dude. I have rarely come across anyone who questions his play, work ethic, or off-the-field stuff. I think he comes into the league as a free safety, but is a bizarre combo of Micah Hyde and Jalen Ramsey, so I think you'll be seeing him making plays all over the field in the NFL. While Saquon is still on the board, Fitzpatrick just does too much to help his team, and he has to be the pick. With the number 5 overall pick, I believe the Denver Broncos will take Josh Allen. This is the first pick so far where I'm just like, yeah, this is going to happen. John Elway, who is not a good general manager, is always looking for a quarterback who has the same type of arm talent he had, and he can mold into the next great Bronco. So enter Josh Allen, who has elite physical tools, but that is really about it. If they can stash him away for at least a year, maybe he could develop into something, but I think Elway will bank on this kid, trot him out way too early, and the Broncos will suffer another bad season. With the number 6 overall pick, I believe the New York Jets will select Saquon Barkley. The best player in the draft lasts until pick number 6. And the New York Jets should be dancing in the draft room. I'm not assuming where all the free agent quarterbacks will end up, but I feel like the Jets are likely to pick up one. Adding Barkley to any offense is bound to help, and with the Jets having a history of picking the best player on the board, I think this fits. Barkley is just an insane prospect. 230 pounds with a 40-yard dash expected to be in the 4.3s at the combine. He has no off-the-field concerns, and it has to be the pick for the Jets front office. At the number 7 overall pick, I believe the Buccaneers will take Quenton Nelson. The Bucs land the second best prospect in Quenton Nelson. Sure, offensive guard is not a sexy pick, but if you draft a consensus plug-and-play lineman outside the top 5, I think you should do it. Nelson is a violent, brutal blocker, but he's also a fluid athlete with the movement skills to pull, trap, and keep pace with speedy pass rushers on the interior. I think this is a no-brainer pick for the Bucs at 7. At number 8, I believe the Chicago Bears will take Denzel Ward. Ohio State had a great corner coming from their school last year, Rashaan Evans, and if Denzel Ward can be even in the ballpark of how good Lattimore was, the Bears have to take him at 8. This team could use secondary help, and the ultra-athletic Ward could go a long way in making that Bears defense into something special. So at number 9, Oakland will take Roquan Smith. I love Roquan Smith here for the Raiders. Their defense is a bit of a mess, and Roquan is a player who can come in and make a difference immediately. He is a rangy, fast, smart linebacker with the tools to drop into coverage in the middle of the field, or go after the run on plays outside the hashes. I think if you take Roquan and let the young secondary develop, this Raiders defense could be a force in the AFC West in 2018. At number 10, I believe the San Francisco 49ers will take Josh Jackson. I really wanted to project Tremaine Edmonds going to the 49ers here, but something tells me that Kyle Shanahan and that front office will opt to take a corner to help out their secondary. Jackson at 6'1" has the height and length that teams crave at corner, and also has shown the ball skills and playmaking to warrant an early selection with his 8 interceptions in 2017. Sure, I do not think the 49ers could go wrong taking Edmonds, but I think Jackson fills a slightly bigger need. So with that being said, at pick number 11, the Miami Dolphins take Tremaine Edmonds. Tremaine Edmonds is the most interesting prospect in the 2018 draft in my opinion. This dude is 6'5", 260 pounds, and is just 19 years old. There are top prospects entering the NCAA right now who are the same age as this dude, and yet he was one of the best defenders in all of college football last season and has the skills to be molded into either a stud pass rusher or a rangy stack linebacker. I think it is very likely that Edmonds can develop into one of the best defenders in the NFL, and while I think he could end up being a consensus top 10 pick as the offseason continues, for me though, I think he does not go past 11. The Dolphins could use a guy like Edmonds, and they end up with him. At pick number 12, the Bengals will take Connor Williams. One of the reasons the Cincinnati Bengals have gone downhill in recent years is their atrocious offensive line. This is largely due to losing quality starters in free agency and just some horrible drafting. So I think even if a lineman is not a slam dunk, they need to try and repair their line. I think Texas's Connor Williams is the best tackle prospect in this class, and while I would not say he was great in 2017, I think putting him in the Bengals rotation can help the rest of the line, so he has to be the pick here. At number 13, the Redskins will take Orlando Brown. I may have gone QB here before the Alex Smith trade, but I think Orlando Brown will be the pick now. I do think Brown is a good player with NFL pedigree, but he is not necessarily technically sound. He is a dream if you're looking purely at his 6'8", 340-pound frame, but sometimes he can get beat by speedier edge rushers. I think he can be taught to be successful in the NFL, but he's definitely more of a project than I like. Still, with no other great linemen on the board here to fill the need, he likely will be the pick. At number 14, the Packers will take Marcus Davenport. Honestly, I would not make this pick if I was the Packers front office, but this is not what I would do, and because of that, I think they will take Marcus Davenport. This guy is a really raw prospect from UTSA, but I think he will test well at the combine and his pro day. He also benefits from being 6'6", 259 pounds, so he has plenty of upside. I am just unsure how quickly he will adapt to the league. Still, I think the Packers will make this pick purely based off physical tools and potential. At number 15, the Arizona Cardinals will take Baker Mayfield. Again, I think some team could easily trade up and take Baker Mayfield in the top 10. However, if no one is willing to take that risk, I think his likely landing spot is Arizona. People doubt him on his size and off-the-field issues, but in my eyes, he is the most likely quarterback in this draft to light it up in his rookie season. He is fiery and wants to win at all costs, and that's why I want out my quarterback. With Arizona desperately needing a decent quarterback, I think Mayfield has all the tools you need to be successful. At pick number 16, the Baltimore Ravens will take Calvin Ridley. This is a pick that just has to happen. What do the Ravens need? A receiver. What college does Ozzie Newsome love? Alabama. So taking the most pro-ready Bama receiver is a match made in heaven for the Ravens. Ridley is a smooth route runner and a sure-handed receiver. This is not like taking a speedster like a Brashad Perriman a few years ago. This dude could have been a decent rookie last year. This might be the fastest pick in the draft if Ridley stays on the board until 16. At pick number 17, the Los Angeles Chargers take Mike McGlinchey. I think the Chargers could really use some help on their offensive line. Sure, Mike McGlinchey is probably a second-round talent, but I honestly think he could be a productive lineman in the league. He had solid production against good competition and has a great character. So, with Rivers nearing the end of his career, it might be worth it to provide him with some protection before he retires in the near future. At pick number 18, the Seattle Seahawks take Darius Geis. I really think the Seahawks need a corner, and honestly, Josh Jackson would have been a great addition opposite Richard Sherman. However, I highly doubt he makes it to 18. So, Seattle may opt to reach a bit on a violent Marshawn Lynch-esque style runner in Darius Geis. Sure, there are plenty of concerns with the Seahawks team, but if they can actually find consistent production out of their running back, it could go a long way in righting the ship. Geis fits what the Seahawks like to do, so I think he will be the pick. At pick number 19, the Dallas Cowboys take Daron Payne. The Cowboys' top need is probably wide receiver. But with Ridley off the board and no other slam dunk receivers, they could use a D lineman. I think Alabama linemen tend to be solid, and if Daron Payne can contribute at the same level Jonathan Allen did for the Redskins last year, it will be a solid pick. So with that being said, the Cowboys take Payne at 19. At pick number 20, the Detroit Lions take Vita Vea. I think Matt Patricia would like to start his career as head coach with a Vince Wilfork-esque style nose, and I think that's what you get with a Vita Vea. Vea is a massive man at 6'4" and 334 pounds, but he's an athlete with shocking agility to match the power you'd expect from his frame. Vea will split double teams and then get after the quarterback with a quickness that reminds you of Wilfork or Haloti Ngata. I think Vita Vea can be the anchor of the defense for years to come, so he needs to be the pick. At number 21, the Buffalo Bills take Maurice Hurst. The Bills could use someone on that defensive line, and I think Maurice Hurst can bolster it. When I look at this guy, I see someone who can become a Gerald McCoy-style lineman. Hurst is not the biggest at 6'2", 282 pounds, but his first step quickness could be something every defensive line coach wants. Hurst just makes plays, and I think he is woefully underrated right now, but if he stays until 21, the Bills should take this guy. At number 22, the Buffalo Bills take Mason Rudolph. I think the Bills have no clue what they're doing at quarterback. I really like Tyrod Taylor, but I do not think he will lead you to a Super Bowl, and with the Benchik situation last year, it is clear Buffalo has all but given up on him. While I think they could easily trade up to draft someone, I will not project that here. I know a lot of people who rate Rudolph really high, with some saying he belongs in the top 10. While I rightfully think they are crazy, I also feel like something strange usually happens involving QB drafted in the 20s, so I think this year's contestant is Rudolph. At 23, the Los Angeles Rams take Isaiah Oliver. The Rams really need a corner, and they take the third best one in a place where I think he belongs. I do think Oliver will be a solid starter in the league with his combo of length and speed. With no one else in this range filling a major need for the Rams, this has to be the pick. At number 24, the Carolina Panthers take Courtland Sutton. Some people may yell that the Panthers have taken big receivers before, but they really need someone for Cam to throw to. SMU's Courtland Sutton is 6'4", 216 pounds, and has the ability to play the ball above the field and become Newton's best friend. We will see how they adapt over the course of free agency, but the Panthers need playmakers outside of Cam, and Sutton can be that. At number 25, the Tennessee Titans take Harold Landry. Just a reminder, Mike Vrabel is the new head coach of the Tennessee Titans, and I'm sure he would love to draft someone to help out the pass rush. I really like Harold Landry, and I'm sure Mike Vrabel does as well. The Boston College prospect was great in 2016 and has fallen a bit after an injury, but this guy is still a force to be reckoned with. I think he could easily be a plug-and-play dude for the Titans, so Vrabel will pull the trigger at 25. At 26, the Atlanta Falcons will take Isaiah Wynn. I might be a little biased having a Georgia player going to the Falcons, but here we are. I just think Wynn is a solid guard prospect that could really help fix some of the issues Atlanta has had with their line. I rate him a little closer to the second round, but I think Wynn is good enough to be productive in the league, and the Falcons are a good organization to help pick you up. At number 27, I have the New Orleans Saints taking Rashaan Evans. The Saints had a crazy good draft last year, and I think Rashaan Evans could be a great pick for them to continue that tradition. I think by the time April arrives, Evans might go higher, or a tight end might separate themselves enough that the Saints are too tempted not to pick them, but right now Evans falls into their lap. He is a very athletic linebacker with the agility and quickness to run alleys and get outside the hashes to make plays. I would not say he is a Luke Kuechly, but he's good enough to fill the hole at Mike linebacker and be a 3-down player for the Saints. At number 28, the Pittsburgh Steelers take Derwin James. This player is very interesting to see where he finally ends up. At this point, it would not surprise me to see him go top 10 or fall to the second round. Derwin James is just such a wild card. I think he is a phenomenal athlete and exactly the type of versatile safety teams are starting to fall in love with. I would say he's a slightly more athletic Keane O'Neal, but I do think there are injury concerns that might influence some teams. Still, if he falls all the way to 28, I would not be surprised to see Pittsburgh take him. With the 29th overall pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars take Dallas Goedert. The Jaguars were actually pretty close to going to the Super Bowl this year, but it's hard to project who they might consider taking here. I think tight end is their biggest need at the moment, and my number one guy at the position, by a nose, is Dallas Goedert. The South Dakota State prospect is still a bit of a mystery overall, but I think he has a little Travis Kelce in him with his athleticism and his ability to dominate defenses up the seam. I would love to see Derwin James go here to eventually replace Barry Church, but right now I think the Jags will take the best tight end on the board, and right now that was Goedert. Also, quick note, I've seen many people saying that the Jags should reach for Lamar Jackson with this pick. I am sorry, while I love Lamar Jackson, he's not worth a Jacksonville first round pick, especially when the Jags have shown no signs of moving on from Blake Bortles. At pick number 30, the Minnesota Vikings take Kolton Miller. The Minnesota Vikings will make a decision on which of their 3 starter level QBs to keep, but it is important for the team to protect them, especially since two are very injury prone. At this point in the draft, it might be worth it to take a chance on UCLA's Kolton Miller. Sure, he's a little less known than a lot of the other offensive linemen in this mock, but I think he will have a standout combine and really rise as the offseason progresses. So, the Vikings decide to take another UCLA prospect at 30. It's worked for them in the past. At pick number 31, the New England Patriots take Sam Hubbard. I have no clue if the Patriots will keep this pick, who they will draft, or what the hell they might actually do. They are easily the hardest team to project. However, I do think if they keep this pick, they might opt to take the versatile Sam Hubbard out of Ohio State. I think this dude could be a good edge for the Patriots, plus he has a lacrosse background and we all know how much Belichick loves his lax dudes. At pick number 32, the Philadelphia Eagles take Malik Jefferson. Now, the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles have to make a decision on who to take. At this point, this team is still stacked, though I think they could use a linebacker to shore up some injury concerns with that part of their defense. Malik Jefferson is a special athlete who will post great times at the scouting combine, but some teams are struggling to reconcile that with his film that was at times uninspiring. With coaching and reps at just one position instead of jumping all over the defense like he did at Texas, I think the Eagles could get a high-level starter with Jefferson. Well, that was my mock draft, everybody. Hopefully y'all enjoyed. If you did, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time.